Welcome to the Outsourcing and Offshoring Philippines podcast. Joining us today is Tim Vorbak, the founder, president, and chief visionary officer of EMAPTA. Tim is a very successful entrepreneur and he is an award-winning businessman. He's joining us today to talk about his company that he founded, EMAPTA, what it is, and what it's all about. Welcome to the show, Tim, and thanks for coming to the show.
Thanks, Henry.
Hey, Tim, can you give us a brief intro about yourself and how you got started with the BPO industry?
Thanks, Henry. Yes, my name's Tim Vorbak. I'm an Australian and the founder and CEO of EMAPTA. About late 2004, uh, we outsourced some call center work to a BPO in the Philippines, and we were surprised by how effective the service was and how and also how cost effective it was. And it soon became a very important lead generating strategy for one of my companies in Australia, up until the point that it became the most relied on lead strategy for. We had 60 salesmen relying on the leads on the outbound telemarketing that was coming from this BPO. So I decided with my business partner to come over to the Philippines and see if we could improve even more on the service and perhaps expand that even further. And the day that I arrived in the Philippines, it was just so obvious to me of this enormous pool of talent that was really sitting on Australia's doorsteps, that could be doing not just voice work but a whole range of knowledge work, accounting, marketing, customer service, a whole range of services. And I thought, we're only looking at one particular aspect here. So I started to offshore a whole range of roles almost immediately through this BPO. The problem with the BPO model is that it's almost the opposite of what we do and what the EMAPTA staffing platform model is about. A BPO traditionally has been quite closed about how it does things. That's its ability to retain value and its margins, and the customers are generally interested in buying an outcome, whether it's a pay per service or a pay per outcome. But really what I wanted to have complete and control over the staff, and I needed complete transparency as to what each of the staff were being paid, because I really needed to know, was Mary better than Peter? And if so, do I keep on developing Mary? And does Peter have a long-term future with us? But getting that sort of transparency was impossible at the start. And then further, as we got more and more into it, the differences between what were important to me as an Australian businessman and perhaps what the mindset was in the Philippine BPO office were quite different. For example, in Australia, our salaries are comparatively, more expensive than the Philippines. So many business executives are always looking to increase the productivity, find out ways how they can make their staff more effective and get more production. And so you're looking at things like your IT and your infrastructure and your quality of your computers and all these tools we're trying to maximize so we can enhance the output of our staff. Whereas what I found when I was first over here, it was a very different approach, and an approach which was sort of based on trying to save money, trying to get a cheaper line of internet connection, and all these other elements. And there's a whole range of different sort of disconnects between what I was looking for and what I felt was required to have a high performance team and what I could get through this particular BPO provider. We ended up going to another BPO provider that communicated an understanding and an alignment with what we were trying to do, but we soon found that there really wasn't that alignment at all, and we were faced with the prospect of actually having to let this whole back office team that we'd set up, have to let that go and just try to refocus on doing the same in Australia. But I looked at all the things that we were doing, and we had some really exciting, we had SEO marketing specialists, our own in-house graphic designers, all these resources that I just couldn't afford to have full-time in Australia. So decided to bite the bullet and do it ourselves and set up our own company in the Philippines. And literally for 2 years, it was 2 weeks in Australia, 2 weeks in the Philippines. A crazy existence. Fun the first 2 or 3 times you get on a plane. Not so much fun,
Yeah.
in the second year of that. But we nailed it, and we built an offshore team which surpassed my expectations. Not just in the price effectiveness, but just the quality. We were able to get talent doing exactly the same activities with exactly the same sort of results and outcomes as we were able to do in Australia. And as a consequence, we were able to do so much more in these businesses, and it was quite profound. And then what starts to happen when I was basically spending half my time in the Philippines, and I was looking at these other companies that I'd had for a very long period of time. My first company I started when I was 19, and some of these companies have been 24, 25 years under my management. And I thought, what business am I passionate about? And the truth is, I probably lost some passion in those other businesses where I was really, really passionate about what we were doing here in the Philippines. And so I decided, look, I want to make this the one and only business, and convince my girlfriend at the time and my wife to come and live in the Philippines and focus 100% on building this for other companies.
Wow, that that story was actually pretty great, and thank you so much for sharing that. And yeah, it's interesting how there was an evolution of perspective and how you found an opportunity, and yeah, I'm glad that you took it. So congratulations on your success.
I think it's made a really big difference to our success now when we're dealing with our customers, because I've sat on the other side. I've
Mhm.
absolutely known what's important to a lot of our customers. I know their sensitivities. I know what things are critical to them, because they're the things that were really critical to me that I was looking for in the first instance.
Well, since we're already on the topic of your company, and I think you guys have a very interesting name, and yeah, it's catchy to me. So can you tell us about how you came up with EMAPTA and with the
Sure.
name EMAPTA, and well, what services do you guys offer now?
Sure. So EMAPTA is actually the initials of my family: Elizabeth, Mark, Amanda, Paul, Tim, and Adrian. And again, this entity was set up originally just to service our own companies in Australia. And it was only later that we decided that this was going to be a business that had real potential to be a standalone business and doing exactly the same as what we've done for our
Hmm.
group for other customers. And at that time, we had all the options of having different names, and you can think of fast staffing. There's lots of different names, and we
Yeah.
thought, no, what we want to do, we want to just stay true to what we are and what was important to us. So what's very, very important to myself and MAPTA is there's some fundamentals about how we operate that are set in concrete. We just will not veer from them. And for example, like transparency is one of our strongest values, because it was something that wasn't provided to me when in our early experiences through other service providers. And it's so important in this type of relationship. So transparency on every part of our service is provided to our clients. Our clients see everything to do with the
Hmm.
staff. They see the employment contracts, they see every single piece of communication. Nothing's hidden from our clients. Our clients decide what they pay their staff. We don't apply any markup or any margin to any of our staffing costs. And so transparency is a really, really important aspect. Also things like equality, always
Hmm.
trying to look for the most effective way of doing something, not the cheapest way of doing something. And that particularly plays out in things like decisions that we make every day with IT and infrastructure. There's lots of ways to set up an office, but if you want to have the same levels of reliability and quality that our clients are used to enjoying in their home markets, then you need to be making decisions about that can give that comparable level from the Philippines.
Where you mentioned the Philippines just now, I was just curious, how did you find the Philippines? I mean, there are other countries that you can actually outsource to and build a company in. So, why the Philippines?
Yeah, in around 2004, in actual fact, India was the country that was getting the most attention and was the most advanced with its, BPO and call center and sort of services. The the Philippines, I just felt in the first instance the communication style, not just the English, which is of a very high quality. It's there's a nature and there's a respectful manner about Filipinos, which I think is generally very well received. And that was the first. So that was the first reason why we choose the Philippines for our voice services, sort of knowing so much more about the Philippine talent. There's all these other aspects, but there's a hugely educated, very well educated talent pool. So there's very deep pools of talent in across the range. You have talked about it's the Filipino culture. Filipinos are respectful in nature, they're compassionate and welcoming, and all of these qualities are particularly important for our type of model because the EMAPTA model is an integrated teams. The staff that are set up and operating on our platform in the Philippines are sort of interwoven and operate with our clients' teams in their own home countries. So the Filipinos do that as a rule very, very well. And also the value proposition. There's still a very good value proposition, even comparing the Philippines with some of the other Southeast Asian countries. Philippines still has a good value proposition. And I think what's happened over the last 10 years, it's shown to be the right choice because there's been an enormous growth in BPO and offshoring in the Philippines for those reasons, I suspect.
Well, on the subject of the Philippines, when you start working with clients, what can they expect when they start working with EMAPTA and checking the Philippines out?
Well, it's a turnkey. It's really a turnkey solution. We can find talent and we can set staff up for our clients faster than what they can do it locally. I mean, it's really quite incredible what's happened these last few years with technology. Yeah, so our team can be talking to a client and the client can sort of say, I'm looking for an accountant. These are the qualifications and the experience that we're seeking. And our recruitment team, we have 15 people in our recruitment team. We have subject matter experts who can focus just on industry verticals. We can have the advertisements out and we can start doing all this channel marketing for recruiting talent, and we can have A grade English speaking accountant in an operation fully set up in a working environment faster than what our clients could do that even if they were trying to do it locally. It's really, really quite incredible. But beyond that, I mean, the EMAPTA model is different to most outsourcing companies, because we take responsibility of all the things that our clients don't want or shouldn't want to get involved in, like all the facilities, IT infrastructure, network support, all the IT support, recruitment, HR, payroll, and all of that. And it can be done for as low as $99 a week. And then the actual the staff costs. So whatever the actual staff costs, that's what the client is the one that makes the decision as to whether they want they want Mary or they want Peter or they want Bob. And Mary's $1,200 a month. Then the client decides, yes, I want to pay $1,200 a month, and that's the amount they're charged. There's no margins on any of that, so it becomes really very efficient for our clients. And then this particular model, because it doesn't apply any margin to the salaries, what ends up happening is our clients, they're sort of incentivized to be able to get higher quality talent versus in other different business models, the way that the staffing platform or the BPO makes its money is quite understandable. It applies a margin to the labour costs. The problem with that is that the higher the labour cost, the more expensive the whole service is. So I think our whole pricing model is a much more effective pricing model for clients. And then just the whole turnkey. So everything from we have like 16 people in our IT networking infrastructure team. That's the amount of people that are looking at all of the connectivity to all our devices and for all of our staff. We have a huge level of oversight, which most of our clients just wouldn't justify to have that level of resources supporting their offshore team. So it becomes, becomes a much better solution. And then in the last 2 years, what we've started to do is actually provide fully customized private offices with all our customers branding, encouraging the staff to be branded in their clients' company uniforms. And so in some sites, you could go into a private office and you wouldn't actually know that it's actually being fully driven by EMAPTA, because everything is about the client and then personifying their presence in this market.
If I was a client of EMAPTA, I think I'd have actually pretty great transition with regards to moving my work from onshore to offshore. So you guys sound great.
Thank you. Thank you.
And have you ever had clients visit your offices and actually talk to your staff?
All the time.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely all the time. As I look outside my office right now, I can see three clients working with their teams. Yes, we really encourage it as well. 50% of the time, clients will come be involved at the start, and they can be fly over and meet their teams at the start. But it's really, really important the amount of engagement that happens between the clients and our client staff is a really important factor to optimizing not just the quality of the work, but things like retention and engagement. So yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And can you describe to us what kind of clients you get, and who would be your ideal client?
There really is no set ideal client. We because we allow our clients to be the managers of their own team. So the team and the staff that work here are directly reporting back to the clients and the management in the home country. So that can be in Australia or America or UK. And so we don't need to be operational experts in each of these fields. So we can have our strongest categories are accounting, both from small and medium-sized businesses with their own finance teams being located here, but also with a lot of the accounting firms that have really embraced offshoring. And we've got a large number of accounting firms that have got quite substantial teams here doing a whole range of routine accounting activities that would normally be done in their home country for a lot more money. But there's marketing. If I look around me right now, I can see marketing resources. I can see engineers. I can see legal. There's customer service. There's a whole range, just a complete range. Anything that can be done from remotely from another office is something that could be done on the EMAPTA platform.
Well, we're actually down to our last two questions in the interview. So, I just wanted to ask, what's the biggest lesson that you can share with everyone right now who's interested in outsourcing to the Philippines and, thinking about the transition from onshore to offshore with EMAPTA?
I think the most important thing is actually having a high level of trust in the people that you're dealing with. You're not able to just walk down the street and have a face-to-face meeting if things go wrong. And the client's not in a position to always have the information to fully understand what's going on. Mm-hmm. So the most important thing is finding an offshore platform or provider that a client can trust and has the confidence that it has the capabilities to do what they need to be done. And so then a client would look for its previous experience, and that really is the essence of it. Because if you have the right offshoring platform and the partner, they will guide, like a relationship with EMAPTA, we will guide our clients. We've seen many of the small hurdles that come with setting up an offshore team. We've navigated them, and we can be very efficient and very effective at being able to sort of steer our clients in the right direction. We're able to give advice on best practice and what the good things to do, what things perhaps to not do. We also have a good understanding of perhaps the culture of our clients. So it's important when we talk about, say, the culture aligning with the teams in the Philippines, is also having an understanding of our client culture, where what their culture is and how they generally approach things, and then making sure that we can bridge that so that the relationships and the teams that are being built are well aligned. But I think that is the best advice, because if you get into a good relationship, I mean, a relationship with an offshore partner is like a marriage, and it really is something where you want to be dealing with not just people that are flexible, who are friendly, helpful, responsive, all those sorts of aspects. If you're dealing with the right people, the actual process of offshoring, it actually is very, very simple.
Well, for all our listeners right now, I'm sure at this point of the interview, they're probably thinking on how they can get in touch with you and where you guys are located in the Philippines. So, yeah, can you tell us what's the best way to get in touch with you, Tim, and EMAPTA, and where are your offices here in the Philippines?
So we have 6 offices in the Philippines. We have 4 in the National Capital Region of Manila. So there is 2 in Makati, which is a long-standing business district, and there's another one in Ortigas, one in Eastwood, one in Angeles, and one in Baguio. So we've got 2 regional offices, and look, I can be contactable via any of the phone numbers on the website, and my email address is tim, which is tim, .vorbach, V for Victor, ORBACH, at EMAPTA, which is EMAPTA.com. And I'm happy to talk personally in the first instance to get a better understanding of whatever any listeners' requirements might be.
Thank you so much for coming on the show, Tim. We really appreciate your time.
Thanks, Henry.
And that was Tim Vorbach, the founder, president, and CEO of EMAPTA. We just finished talking about EMAPTA and the Philippines as a BPO country. If you'd like to know more about them and see what EMAPTA is all about, please visit their website at www.emapta.com. That's EMAPTA.com. Transcripts, archive, and audio files are available at www.offshoring.com.ph. You can also find us for download, streaming, and listening on iTunes, SoundCloud, and YouTube. You've been listening to the Outsourcing and Offshoring Philippines podcast with Henry Acosta.